Hello everyone. In this lecture we are going to discuss about ambiguity in context-free grammar and how we can check whether a given grammar is ambiguous or not. In exam you will be given with a grammar and you have to check whether the grammar is ambiguous or not. So there are very simple and easy steps to check whether a grammar is ambiguous or not. So let's start with the ambiguity concept. So what is ambiguity? So every context-free grammar is having production rule of the type alpha can be rewritten as beta, where alpha is a string of non-terminal and beta is a string of terminal non-terminal, where V is representing total symbols of the grammar. So we can say that the context-free grammar is ambiguous if we have more than one leftmost derivation path, or more than one parse tree or syntax tree for at least one input string from the grammar. Okay, so if we are having more than one parse tree, leftmost parse tree or syntax tree for any at least one input string, so we can say that the grammar is ambiguous. So how we can check whether a grammar is ambiguous or not? So let's try these problems with examples. So first example of ambiguous grammar here is this: the grammar production rule for strings of even length with equal number of A's and B's. Means we need to have the strings of even length with equal number of A's and B's. So the minimum string acceptable here is null, and after that we can have A, B, or any combination as BA, or any combination of even length with equal number of A's and equal number of B's, right? So this is the way how we define the minimum string. Now we have to write the grammar production rule for this particular problem. So here we can have A, B's in any combination. So from start symbol, either we can go with A then B, or we can have B followed by A and B by A. Okay, so we can have A, B or B, A, and before this A and after this A and after this B, before this B or after and before these symbols, we can have the same repetition of the same pattern. Means we can have A, B, A, B, B, A, A, B, or any pattern can be repeated anywhere with equal number of A's and equal number of B's. So we have to keep track, or we have to put the scope of iteration of the complete grammar with AB or BA as the complete pattern. So we are here putting the iteration of the grammar by inserting the same non-terminal. Okay, so we can iterate or repeat these grammar production rules any number of time at any place with equal number of, and every time we will be having equal number of A's and equal number of B's, and in last we will be terminating S with a null. So this is the final production set for the given statement. So let's try to check whether this production rules or whether this grammar is ambiguous or not. So let's try to derive the minimum string, as the minimum string here is null. So there is no ambiguity with null here, as we are having only one derivation tree, right? So let's try to derive next minimum string, as next minimum strings are either AB or BA. So let's try to derive these strings from the start symbol. So here if we have to derive this first AB as minimum string, then we have to go with first production rule, and for BA we have to go with second production rule. So starting with the first production rule, we are having this A, S, B, S, and by the application production rule number 1, here we have applied the rule number 3. So by the application of rule number 1 we are getting this, and by the application of rule number 3 times we are getting the string AB, right? So for the next minimum string we are having this. By the application of second production rule we are getting this, and by applying production rule number 3 times we are getting the string BA, and the derivation tree or the parse tree for this are S, A, S, B, S, right, for this, and After that we are replacing all these with s with null, and for this we are having this corresponding derivation tree or the syntax tree. After replacing s by null using leftmost derivation, so we are having for all these minimum string as null AB or BA, we are having only one possible options. Means for AB we can go with first production rule only, and for second string we can go with second production rule only, and both of these minimum string are deriving the same, or we can say that only one syntax tree. We cannot have any other derivation option for AB, and also we cannot have any other derivation option for BA. We have to go with second production rule only, and for AB we have to start with first production rule only. So there is no other option. But if we are having this string, means if we try to derive this string AB and BA, then we can have two path or two leftmost derivation trees. As first, if we are applying the first rule first, so here we are having this. After that, for BA, for using the leftmost derivation, we are replacing it with null. So after the application of rule number 3, we are getting this. Here this leftmost symbol is replaced by null, so the remaining sentential form is this. After the application of rule number 3, again we are replacing this leftmost symbol with null, so the resulting sentential form is this. Now we are applying the rule number 2, and the resulting sentential form is A B S B S A S, and by the application of rule number 3 three times, we will be getting the string A B B A, right? Now trying with the next option, if we start with second production rule first, S B S A S, so starting with the second production rule first, now this leftmost terminal, now we are applying the rule number 1, so production rule number 1, so this leftmost known terminal will be replaced by first production rule, and we are getting this sentential form S A S B S, okay, and the remaining rule is written as it is, or sentential form is written as it is, B S A S. Now by applying rule number 3 5 times, so 3 3 3 3 3 5 times, we will be getting the string A B B A, okay. So here we are having two leftmost derivation path for this particular string from the same production rules. Means here we have started with, as we are having multiple production rules corresponding to the start symbol, so we can start with any production rule. So here we are starting with first production rule first, and here we are starting with second production rule. So we are getting two leftmost derivation path, or we can say that we are having two leftmost derivation trees for this particular string. As for first, for this grammar we will be having this tree S A S B S, and after replacing this with null, we are applying here this S B S A S, and all these S will be replaced by null. So this is the derivation tree or the syntax tree for this derivation, okay. And for this derivation we are having another derivation tree as this. So this is another derivation tree, all S will be replaced by null here. You can simply write it. So as we are having two leftmost derivation path for same string as we have discussed in the definition, and also we are having two leftmost derivation trees or the syntax tree for the same string, Okay, so we can say that this grammar is ambiguous. This grammar is ambiguous because we are having multiple derivation trees from leftmost derivation. Okay, so for this language we can also have unambiguous grammar. So there are production rules for deriving these strings unambiguously, but for this session we are discussing about ambiguous concept only. So this grammar is ambiguous. Next point to note down here is, here as we have followed only leftmost derivation, but in some books you will find the definition of ambiguous grammar as, if we have two derivation tree either by following leftmost derivation or rightmost derivation or the mix of leftmost or rightmost derivation, still the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, so in this way we can say that if we are not following any strict production rule or the derivation form leftmost or rightmost, so we can say that the grammar is not ambiguous, maybe production rules are ambiguous. Okay, so we should stick to the leftmost derivation rules only. So we should always try with leftmost derivation path or derivation tree only. So here we in exam, if you get the question with the given grammar and you have to check whether the grammar is ambiguous or not, then you have to check the production rules carefully and you have to try out some examples or the sample strings. And if you are getting more than one derivation tree or more than one derivation path, leftmost derivation path for any input string or for at least one input string, then you can say that the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, let's check another example. Here we have the second example of one unambiguous grammar, as we have the language of a raised to power n, b raised to power n. This example we have done so many times. So the production rules are S derives a, S, b, and sorry, here we have ab. So this is not S, this is ab. So after deriving any string, you will not find any string. Suppose we have to derive this. So for this string you will be having only one option, means we cannot have multiple path for any of the string belongs to this language. So we cannot have, as we cannot have multiple path, so we can say that this grammar is not ambiguous. This grammar is not ambiguous, as you will have only one derivation path, leftmost derivation path or leftmost derivation tree for any string of this language. So this grammar is not ambiguous or this grammar is unambiguous. Let's check another example. For the third example we have the expression grammar. So you must be very careful about this expression grammar, as for example from this expression grammar we have to derive the string a plus b into c. So let's try to derive the string out of this grammar. So if we start with the first production rule, second production rule, third, fourth and fifth. So let's start with first production rule first, e into e, e into e, and next replacing this leftmost known terminal with a plus symbol, e plus e into e, right? So further we will be replacing these with terminals a plus b into c. So this will be the resulting grammar. So let's try with second production rule. If we start with second production rule, then and following the leftmost derivation path only, so we have e plus e and replacing this e with a first. Here plus and multiply symbols are these, star and plus are terminals only, we are considering operator as terminals. So now this leftmost known terminal will be replaced with a plus e into e, and further we will be replacing this and this with b and c. So the final string is this. Okay, so some student will think that if we can derive the same string from two derivation path, then what is the problem? Means we are ultimately getting the same result or the same string. Okay, but let's try this particular example with fixed numbers, means some constant, as if we are taking a as 2 and b as 3 and c as 4. Okay, and we are having two derivation tree here. So let's draw derivation tree for this as e into e, and for leftmost e we are having e plus e. Okay, so derivation tree for this, so here a, b and this e is representing c. So derivation tree for second production rule is this. This is c. So here we have e, e plus e, and further we are having e into e, a, b and c, right? So here the first derivation tree and the second leftmost derivation tree. So let's check whether the resultant string is making any difference or not. So if we are going with first derivation tree, so if we are going with this first derivation tree and this is the second derivation tree, so if we are going with first derivation tree, then we can say that we are having plus operation to be performed first and then multiply operation. Okay, so this is like we are performing a plus b multiply c. So as we are having the lower precedence operator at the lower level or the inner level, so a plus b will be performed first, then we are having a multiply operation. So here the result will be 2 plus 3 into 4, 2 plus 3 into 4, and we will be getting result as 20. And for the second option, for this option we are having multiply operation first and then addition. So for this second we will be having result as a plus b into c, and we are getting result as 2 plus, here we can put the brackets, so 3 into 4, so here the results are 14. Okay, and according to mathematical formula we must use or perform multiply and then plus or minus operation. So according to mathematical formula, precedence of, we can say that the priority of multiply operator is higher than the plus operator. So this derivation tree is right, but this is not resulting into the good or the accurate output. So we can say that this grammar is ambiguous, as this grammar may lead to incorrect result, as we need to perform multiply first, okay, then addition. So we cannot follow this rule. So this grammar is ambiguous and may lead to incorrect result as 20. If we go with this production rule, then we have the relation like a plus b, means we are performing plus and then multiply. Okay, so this is not the perfect approach. Here the results are changed. So we can say that the ambiguous grammar is not resulting into the correct output. Next we have the another example for grammar production rule for this language for a raised to power n, where n is greater than or equal to 1. Here the minimum string will be a, and next minimum can be any number of a's we can have, as we have a, n is greater than or equal to 1. So we can have any number of a's with minimum number of a's as 1. So let's check the grammars for this particular language. So for this particular language we can have two grammars. Okay, so G1 or the grammar 1 is having S rewritten as double S as non-terminals and terminal A, and for the second grammar we are having this regular grammar and regular production rule. This we can say that context free grammar, and this is our regular grammar. So for this particular language we can have these two grammars. So let's check which grammar is ambiguous and which grammar is unambiguous. So from this grammar, if we are deriving the string of single symbol or the one length, then there is no ambiguity. And even for deriving string of length 2, we can go with this rule. We are following left mode derivation only. So this is the resulting string with a single, we can say that single derivation tree. Okay, but if the length of the string is greater than 2, means if we are having the length of input string as 3, 4 or anything, then we can have multiple derivation path or multiple derivation tree from the grammar G1, from the first grammar. So let's try for string W equals to A. So for this grammar we are having derivation of this type, means we will be having this. So either we will be replacing this with A, and then we are replacing this with double S, A double S, and then we are deriving triple A, right? Or we can go with second production rules as this and then this, and for this we are replacing it with double S, and then we are rewriting all S with A. Okay, so for the string of length 3, for length 3 string we are having two derivation path from this grammar as this. We can go with this S A double S A. So either we can go with this derivation tree or we can go with this derivation tree. Okay, so as we are having two derivation tree or two leftmost derivation for this particular string with to derive triple A, so we can say that this grammar is ambiguous, and if we try to find out or derive any string from this grammar, then we will be having only one option, means we are going to have only one derivation tree for any string of any length. Okay, so let's try to derive the same string from this grammar. So for this grammar we are having AS, again AS, and again we are replacing S with A. So here we are getting only one derivation tree corresponding to the string triple A. So we can say that this grammar is unambiguous. So this grammar is unambiguous, but this grammar is ambiguous as this grammar is deriving multiple derivation trees or multiple derivation path for a single input string, right? So based on this concept, as for a given language we can have multiple grammars, and some grammar may be ambiguous and some grammar may be unambiguous. So based on this concept we have some important definitions to study. So some important definitions are: a context-free language L can be generated by many grammar, that we have just experienced that for a particular grammar we can have multiple for a particular language we can have multiple grammar production with different production rules. So a context free language can be generated by many grammars. So we can have many grammar corresponding to the given language L. Now the important part is, a language L is said to be unambiguous. A language L is said to be unambiguous if there exists at least one unambiguous grammar G. Okay, so suppose for a corresponding to a language L we are having three grammar G1, G2 and G3. Okay, so for a language we are having three grammar G1, G2 and G3, and if we are having at least one grammar as unambiguous grammar, then we can say that the language is unambiguous, means we are having at least one unambiguous option, grammar options for this particular language. So we can say that if we are having at least one grammar as unambiguous, so the language is also unambiguous. We can declare that language as unambiguous language. So as for this question we are having two grammars and one grammar is ambiguous, as this grammar is ambiguous and this grammar was not ambiguous. So we can say that the language is unambiguous, language is not ambiguous. Okay, and if we are having in the grammar we are having all the rules, all the grammars are ambiguous, so all the grammar generating language L are ambiguous, then L is said to be inherently ambiguous. Okay, so for a language we are having multiple grammar, grammar 1, grammar 2 and grammar 3, and if all the grammars, all possible grammars are ambiguous, then we can say that the complete language is also ambiguous. The complete language is also ambiguous. Okay, so the term used for the ambiguous language is inherently ambiguous context free language. If all possible options of grammars are ambiguous, then the language is inherently ambiguous. We cannot have any unambiguous option for that particular language. Okay, let's see some of the examples of already proved inherently ambiguous context free languages. As to prove a language as inherently ambiguous is not an easy task. It involves a lot of research work, but these two languages are already proved inherently ambiguous. This language was proved by Chomsky and the second language was proved by Parikh as inherently ambiguous. So in exam you can write these languages as examples of inherently ambiguous context free languages. So for this lecture we have just practiced how we can detect a language is ambiguous or not. In next lecture we will be working on ambiguity removal for a given ambiguous grammar. So how we can convert a given ambiguous grammar to unambiguous grammar, we will be practicing the rules for the same, and for that rule we will be using the left recursion and left factoring removal rule. So please go through the lecture number 40 for these rules to for removing the ambiguity from the grammar. Till then, bye and take care.